The summer of 1947 was a peculiar time in America. Amidst this atmosphere, reports of flying discs or flying saucers began to surface across the country. Citizens were captivated and slightly unnerved by these strange aerial phenomena. This was the backdrop against which the Roswell incident unfolded, an event that would become legendary in the annals of UFO lore. One particularly fierce thunderstorm raged over the plains of New Mexico around the night of July 2, 1947. Ranchers in the remote areas near the town of Roswell were accustomed to harsh weather. However, some reported hearing an unusual explosion or a strange, loud whooshing sound amidst the thunder and lightning that night. This was not the typical sound of a storm. It was something different, something out of place. Little did they know, this event would trigger a sequence of discoveries and pronouncements that would puzzle investigators and the public for decades to come. The desert held a secret. The United States military was at the height of its power. It was also deeply involved in developing and testing new aviation technologies. Secret projects were commonplace. The Roswell Army Airfield itself was home to the 509th Bombardment Group. This proximity to advanced secret activities would later fuel many theories about what truly happened. The incident near Roswell, New Mexico, was destined to become more than just a local curiosity. It would evolve into the most famous, most debated, and arguably most significant alleged UFO event in history. After a thunderstorm, rancher William Brazel found unusual debris on his land. His ranch was near Roswell in a remote area. The debris was lightweight and metallic. Brazel collected some and showed it to neighbors. They advised him to report it to the authorities. This led to an official investigation. Sheriff George Wilcox, faced with Brazel's strange collection of debris, contacted the Roswell Army Airfield, RAAF. Major Jesse Marcel investigated the debris. He was astounded by the material. On July 8, 1947, the RAAF announced they recovered a flying disc. The news spread like wildfire. The Roswell incident had exploded onto the public stage. The global excitement generated by the flying saucer captured announcement was incredibly short-lived. Within mere hours, the official story underwent a dramatic and sudden reversal. Higher military authorities at the 8th Air Force headquarters in Fort Worth, Texas, quickly stepped in. Brigadier General Roger M. Ramey, commander of the 8th Air Force, took control of the narrative. Major Jesse Marcel was ordered to fly the collected debris from Roswell to Fort Worth. Marcel later claimed that the actual unusual debris he had collected was swapped out. Before a press conference was convened, he alleged, the strange materials were replaced with wreckage from a common weather balloon and its radar reflector kite. Marcel was then photographed with this mundane debris, a picture that would be widely circulated to support the new official explanation. Later on that same day, July 8, General Ramey held a press conference in Fort Worth. He announced to the assembled reporters that the object recovered near Roswell was not a flying disc at all. Instead, he stated, it was simply a misidentified weather balloon. The Army Air Forces effectively retracted its earlier stunning claim. The rapid change in narrative, coupled with the initial dramatic announcement, planted seeds of doubt. For more than 3 decades following the events of July 1947, the Roswell incident largely faded from public consciousness. It was relegated to the category of a mistaken identification. A brief flurry of excitement quickly corrected. The official weather balloon explanation seemed to have closed the case. However, the story was far from over. In 1978, a pivotal figure from the original events decided to speak out, shattering the long silence. This was Major Jesse A. Marcel Sr., the intelligence officer who had personally handled the debris. His words would reignite the Roswell controversy. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Jesse Marcel granted an extensive interview to UFO researcher Stanton T. Friedman. In this interview, Marcel made explosive claims. He stated unequivocally that the material he recovered from the Foster Ranch was not of this world. He insisted that the weather balloon story was a fabrication, a cover-up orchestrated by the military to conceal the true nature of the find. Marcel described being pressured to go along with the official narrative, despite knowing it was false. His detailed recollections provided a powerful counter-narrative to the government's explanation. Marcel provided specific descriptions of the debris that contradicted the weather balloon theory. He spoke of incredibly lightweight yet unbelievably strong metallic I-beams. These beams, he claimed, were marked with strange symbols, purplish in hue, resembling hieroglyphics that no one could decipher. The testimony of Jesse Marcel Sr. was a bombshell. It provided a first-hand account from a credible military officer directly involved in the recovery. The true nature of the debris found on the Foster Ranch lies at the very heart of the Roswell enigma. While the official story quickly settled on a weather balloon, the descriptions provided by initial eyewitnesses, particularly W. Brazel and Jesse Marcel Sr., painted a picture of something far more extraordinary. These accounts consistently highlighted materials with properties that seemed to defy conventional understanding of technology available in 1947. One of the most frequently mentioned components was a foil-like material. Witnesses described it as being incredibly thin, similar to the foil from a cigarette packet, yet possessing remarkable strength and resilience. It was said that this material could be crumpled into a ball, but when released it would unfold itself, returning to its original shape without any creases or wrinkles. Furthermore, attempts to cut it or burn it were reportedly unsuccessful. Another intriguing element described by Marcel and others were small, lightweight I-beams. These beams were said to be about the size of a pencil, and made of a material that was as light as balsa wood, but as strong as metal. The persistent descriptions of these anomalous materials by multiple witnesses are what keep the debate about Roswell alive and challenge the official explanations. As public interest in the Roswell incident surged in the late 1970s and 1980s, fueled by Marcel's testimony and new books, the Air Force faced renewed pressure to address lingering questions. They released two major reports in the 1990s. The 1994 report, the Roswell Report Fact versus Fiction in the New Mexico Desert, offered a detailed explanation for the 1947 debris. It moved beyond the simple weather balloon story. The report concluded the wreckage was not extraterrestrial, nor a standard weather balloon. It was debris from Project Mogul, a top-secret program. This project involved high-altitude balloons with acoustic sensors. These sensors detected Soviet atomic bomb tests. The secrecy necessitated the initial cover-up. The materials described by witnesses matched Project Mogul components. However, many UFO researchers and Roswell investigators were not satisfied. Critics pointed out several discrepancies. While Project Mogul provided an official explanation for the debris, it did little to address the more sensational and persistent claims that had emerged over the decades, the recovery of not just a craft, but also its non-human occupants. These allegations, though highly controversial and often based on second-hand or belated testimony, form a crucial part of the Roswell legend. They suggest a far more profound event than merely the crash of a secret balloon. These stories of alien bodies are what truly elevate Roswell into the realm of profound mystery. Numerous individuals came forward over the years claiming to have direct or indirect knowledge of alien bodies recovered from a crash site near Roswell. One notable witness was Glenn Dennis, a mortician working in Roswell in 1947. Dennis alleged that he received unusual inquiries from military personnel at the Roswell Base Hospital concerning the availability of child-sized hermetically sealed caskets. He also claimed a nurse friend at the base described seeing small, non-human bodies undergoing autopsy. While Dennis's testimony has faced scrutiny, it remains a significant part of the Roswell lore. Other accounts, some from military personnel who claimed to have been present or involved, described seeing a crashed vehicle that was clearly not of human manufacture. They spoke of small beings with large heads and big eyes, some dead, some possibly still alive. These testimonies often surfaced many years after the event, leading to questions about memory, embellishment, or authenticity. More than 75 years after the initial events, the Roswell incident continues to captivate the public imagination. It remains the most famous and fiercely debated UFO case in history. Despite official explanations from the United States Air Force, a significant portion of the public, along with many dedicated researchers, remains unconvinced that the full story has been told. Roswell has become a powerful symbol, representing not only the possibility of extraterrestrial visitation, but also the enduring suspicion of government secrecy and cover-ups regarding unidentified aerial phenomena. The legacy of Roswell is vast. It has spawned countless books, documentaries, films, and television programs. Researchers like myself, Don Schmidt, Stanton Friedman, and many others have dedicated decades to interviewing witnesses, sifting through documents, and attempting to piece together the puzzle. The town of Roswell itself has embraced its unique place in history, becoming a major tourist destination for UFO enthusiasts, complete with museums and annual festivals. The incident has ingrained itself deeply into popular culture, a shorthand for alien encounters and government conspiracies. In recent years, there has been a notable resurgence in mainstream interest regarding UFOs, now more formally referred to as unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAPs. Governments, including the United States, have released official reports and held congressional hearings on UAP sightings by military personnel. This renewed official engagement with the UAP subject keeps the broader questions raised by Roswell relevant. If you like this content, like and subscribe Paradoxica.